Hi everyone, and welcome to my video. I kind of wanted to do a little Q&A. Basically, I am on my 10th week of dieting. Today is Saturday, February 8th, and so that makes it, 10 weeks? 10th week, and Wednesday was the first day, second day, third day, and fourth day. I did my measurements today, which were really good. Let me read over them real quick for you. Oops, I've got pieces of stuff spilling out everywhere. My hips measured at 51.5, so I did not lose any inches there. I am overall 2.25 inches lost. I started measuring my inches on December 29th, which was at the end of that month that I had been dieting. My thigh measured at 23 inches. That's 0.5 inches lost since last measurement and 4 inches overall in my thighs. My arm measured at 13 inches, which is nothing lost since last week's measurement. Overall, 2.25 inches lost. My bust is 46.5, which is 1 more inch lost. That makes 4.5 inches overall. My belly is 44.75, which is a 0.75 inches lost since last week. That's 3 inches overall in the past month or so. My waist is 41 inches, which is a 0.5 inches lost, and that's 4 inches overall. And my calf is 15.5, which is no inches lost and 1 inch overall in my calf muscle, or my calf. I don't think I really have fat in my calf. I never ended up with issues like cankles or anything like that. Like my legs really didn't gain weight other than my thighs. Today's weight is, I didn't even write that down, 247.4. Last week's weight was 247.2, so I still lost inches despite not losing weight. I'm up 0.2, but that's okay. The problem is I had a really big meal last night. I did some keto pizza, some fathead dough pizza, and basically I ate a whole pizza with a lot of toppings. So, and I ate kind of late at night, so my body's still processing all of that. And my weigh-in today was around 10 a.m. So by 10 a.m. my body has not probably processed all of that food, and I need a good day to just eat light and weigh myself again tomorrow. I'll probably be back down to 246 by tomorrow, knowing me. I was at 245.8 like 2 days ago. So my weight currently is fluctuating right now this week. So I don't know how my reading is going to be on Tuesday and my final weigh-in for week 10. But it's whatever. I saw on the scale that I did hit 245 at one point in time. I'm going to get back down there and I'm going to go even further. So I am patient. It's okay. So for my Q&A, I've had a couple people either leave comments or message me and ask a couple questions, and I try to comment back and everything like that. But I did want to go further into explanation as to what's going on with my dieting, what's going on with my weight, why I'm dieting, and all of that stuff. Why I call it dieting, basically. It is dieting until I change my eating habits, and then it is considered a way of eating. And hopefully I do change my eating habits, because I don't want to get down to my goal weight and then I'm like, oh, well, I'm a goal weight. I can start eating like a whole big bowl of pasta or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get to that point where I go backwards in progress. I want to actually maintain. So to me right now, it's a diet. I'm losing the weight. It's a diet. I have to stick to a meal plan that I'm not used to. It's a diet. It's not a way of life right now for me. I'm still learning. I'm only in my 3rd month. All right, so the first question is, why do I do keto or dieting? Why am I doing this? Why am I losing the weight? Because I have a lot of ailments, which include 2 types of arthritis. I have osteoarthritis and I have cervical arthritis. Cervical is your neck. Um, and I have chronic back pain. I have sleeping issues, so I want to sleep better. Overall, I want to breathe better, which I've been able to breathe better. I used to get up and walk through the house, which my house is long, not wide, so it's long. And to walk from my room back here to the front of the house alone when I was way heavier, I would be huffing and puffing. If I were bringing in the groceries, I would be sweating and I couldn't breathe and I had to sit down. Like it was that bad for me. And I couldn't imagine being any heavier because there was no way I would be able to function. To decrease heartburn issues, I had severe reflux going on. Like, really, and it didn't matter if I ate something cold, ate something hot, lukewarm, I had acid reflux from it. My stomach definitely was acting up, it wasn't acting right. I wanted to relieve pressure on my scoliosis and my spondylolisthesis. I don't know if anybody knows what that big word means. Basically, my spondylolisthesis is a birth defect. I was born this way. The base of my spine, where it connects, or it's supposed to connect to my hip or whatever, basically your spine looks like H-shaped, and on the back of it, it's got two little prongs, and they connect to each vertebrae. My bottom one, my L5, those prongs are broken. They were never fully formed, and so my spine is basically free floating on that disc there, and it slides inward. Like this is my hip, and it slides inward and down a little. So that puts pressure on the disc above, which is basically disintegrated completely. It puts pressure on the disc above that and the disc above that. I have two discs that are completely worn down, and they consider it a degenerative disorder, degenerative disc disease, because I get herniated discs and they're worn down like that, and it's because of the scoliosis and the spondylolisthesis. Like my spine basically can't hold up my body the way it should because it's not connected and it's curved. So I'm going to be probably down another disc at some point in time. I do get herniated discs and muscle spasms in my back, and the extra weight was not helping at all. The extra weight was causing more issues. I had issues with my left leg going numb if I walked, or it would cramp up and I would have to sit down for the rest of the day basically. So that's been a lot better since I dropped weight. I can walk now and my leg doesn't cramp up. They did test me for blood pressure and stuff to make sure it wasn't a blood pressure issue. It's not a blood pressure issue as far as I know. I haven't gotten those test results back. I never did. I don't know if you guys remember, I went into the hospital itself and had the blood pressure thing done. I never got those results back, so I have no clue. But I know my leg is doing better. I also have bipolar, and I know bipolar is linked to your hormones, and your hormones drop when you gain weight, because the cells that carry your hormones, they flush out your hormones when you gain weight to store fat. So you lose hormones for fat. So when you lose weight, the fat gets flushed out instead, and then your hormones are back in those cells. So your hormones go back up, and that's why a lot of people, when they're dieting or whatever, females, you can get pregnant, you can be moody, and all that sort of stuff. Your cycles will fix themselves or get better or be off than what they used to be, kind of thing. So that's basically why I'm dieting, because I want everything to just be better. I have a lot of issues, and losing the weight is going to relieve those issues. My shirt is all bunched up. My belly's back here. I swear. When did I start dieting? Is the second question that I got. I started dieting on December 4th, 2019, so it was only about 2 months ago, 2 months and a week ago. I had gone to the doctor the day before on December 3rd, and I weighed in at around 280 pounds. It was 279.4 or something like that. And that was the highest I'd ever been on a scale, like ever. And I know at some point in time, I reached about 300 pounds over that summer beforehand, or that fall, because of pictures of me and videos of me that I had done between July and December. I was huge compared to a picture I took on December 4th. I clearly had lost a little bit of weight, but I hadn't noticed the change because I was just big. But I had to have been at about 300 pounds. Over the summer, I did talk to a bariatric doctor. A lot of people were aware of this. I was looking into bariatric surgery, possibly a gastric sleeve or something like that. They don't do lap bands anymore, apparently, which probably would have helped if they did. And many people were encouraging me to get the surgery done. But what people seem to fail to realize is when you're 300 pounds, despite being morbidly obese, you shouldn't get the surgery. It's not life threatening for you to be overweight at that point in time. You don't have the diabetes, you don't have, whatever. I mean, if you do, then it's probably life saving for you, but I didn't have any of that. So it's not a life saving surgery for me. It would be an elected surgery and not necessary, basically. It would have more risks than benefits. From what I was told. So the people that were encouraging me to get the surgery done, either they had done it themselves or they thought it would help. Clearly, I don't know. It wasn't going to for me. But I did look into it. I was there at their offices and started their plan and whatever to help me. I was classified as morbidly obese at that time. My weight was around 265 on their scale at that time, which was over the summer. That was before I gained up to about 300. I know I gained because I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll go in and get surgery. I'll raise my BMI so that I can be approved for the surgery. Because they were telling me it was roughly about 38 BMI, and I'm about 5'8", 5'8.5". Yeah, I'm 5'8.5". So my BMI was roughly about 38, and they were like, "Oh, you're only a few pounds away from, just being approved based on your BMI, which has to be in this state like 40 something, 40." So I was like, I can gain a few pounds. Well, I went overboard, obviously. So between summer and fall, my weight went up because I was just eating everything in sight, thinking, oh, I can just get bariatric surgery and my doctor will approve me and whatever. But they wanted my primary doctor to approve me for any sort of treatment by them. So after I decided, hey, I'm going to tell everybody about it, and then I'm going to gain the weight to get to the BMI or whatever, I made an appointment with my primary doctor a couple months later. Obviously, if I'm over the summer and my appointment wasn't until December, I waited, and I shouldn't have, because I was afraid he wouldn't help me. I was afraid that he wouldn't, he would be like, oh, well, you just can't do it because you don't have the diabetes or you don't have whatever diagnosis is that you need. I mean, they wanted to do like a sleep study for sleep apnea and stuff like that, which I never got done. They never called me back for it. So basically, I remember that I was crying in the doctor's office and I was begging him to help me because I didn't know what to do. And he told me that I wouldn't qualify for bariatric surgery because I have bipolar. He blamed it on my bipolar. And he was like, oh, you could stress eat or emotional eat because of that. And, there's no way I can approve you because, what happens if you get the surgery and something goes wrong? Or what happens if you get the surgery and you stretch your stomach back out with whatever, whatever. He blamed it on my bipolar, two of which I told that to my psychiatrist, and she was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, that bipolar has nothing to do with the fact that either you can control what you're eating or you can't, or you need a little extra help or you don't, kind of thing. She was like, I've never heard of any doctor ever trying to do that or accuse someone's mental health issues that weren't directly related to weight gain or weight loss. It's never been directly related. I've had bipolar my whole life. He told me to eat a salad for dinner. He said, I'll be your nutritionist. Eat tennis ball sized portions, like the size of your fist or something like that. My fist is small. I should eat fruits and starches, is what he put on my meal plan. I think I read that to you when I was making my vision board. And I think I put it in one of my videos that I didn't follow his meal plan. I didn't follow his advice because honestly, I was confused. Starches is what got me fat to begin with. I'm addicted to starches. You could put a whole pot of mashed potatoes in front of me. I will freaking eat it. Or the same with spaghetti or bread. Or, I mean, starches is something that should not be on a meal plan for someone like me. And it's also probably not good for, bipolar or my arthritis, to have that kind of stuff. It's going to cause more inflammation in my body. It's going to cause more issues. So I left there thinking he wasn't going to help me. He had no good advice to give me, and now I can't use my bariatric doctor because my primary refused to sign any forms or anything like that. I didn't want to make the effort to get finding a new primary doctor. I was like, whatever. I give up. I'm done trying to find a doctor that's going to help me. So I went and took the advice of two people that I know, and I started looking into keto instead that afternoon. I was doing so much research. I was on the internet. I went into a bunch of groups on Facebook and stuff like that. And I saw there were many variations of keto that you could follow. So I decided to do like a lazy keto carb cycling kind of thing, because I think when you cut your carbs that low, eventually it's going to plateau and you're going to need those carbs and nutritions and stuff that you've cut out for 2-3 weeks. Just kind of do like one carb meal and then wait 2 days, and it works for me. I drop weight immediately after a plateau if I do that. So I guess what works for you works for you. I went to the store on December 4th. I stocked up on veggies and meats and stuff that were specifically on a keto approved grocery list that I found online. Like somebody gave me a grocery list, like image, and it was like, just buy whatever off of there. By the end of December, I noticed a difference, but I had stalled in weight, so I started measuring myself. So my measurement changes that I read off to you guys or whatever are based specifically on December 29th at the end of the month, at the end of the year, which is 25 days after I started dieting. So I don't know my initial measurements at all. I have no clue. I don't know how many pant size I've dropped or whatever. I know I'm currently a size 24, I believe, in women's, which is still plus size. I think that's a 2X or something. I don't remember. I was a 3X because I can still kind of fit into 3X clothes. They're a little big on me, but 2X clothes are still snug on me. So I'm like in the in-between sizes right now. Question 3, what diet plan do you follow? I don't follow any specific diet plan. I try to stick to lazy keto and carb cycling ideals. I don't eat between 7 p.m. and 11:30 a.m., which is called intermittent fasting, which is part of keto. You have to do like some sort of intermittent fasting. And that's where, you have a period of time where you just don't eat solid foods. You can have liquids and stuff like that. You can have broths and whatever, but you can't have solid foods because your body it needs to process what you ate the day before. So I allow water at night to take my meds, green tea. I'll drink green tea or coffee with my MCT powder in it around like 8 a.m. Because the MCT powder helps me feel like not hungry until lunchtime. Because I do wake up and I'm just like, ugh. And sometimes I do eat breakfast, but it's rare. So my fasting times are around 16 hours fasting and 8 hours eating, which is normal. It's called the 16-8. So I am lenient on some products though. If it's a minimal amount of soy or something in an ingredient, I'm like, okay, well, I can deal with that. It's just a little bit of soy. It's just to bind it together or whatever. Some ingredients you just can't avoid, unfortunately. Soy is a very common ingredient. Any other beans I don't eat, though. Some things I'm very strict about, though, like ingredients like rice, potato, or any other flours that aren't keto approved. If it says like potato starch or something like that, I get kind of upset because that's like, I don't need that in there. And I try to stick to meal preps because I still have issues with portion sizes still. Because if I just made something, like if I just made like, let's see, last night, like I said, I made the fathead dough pizza. Instead of having like one slice or half a pizza, I ate a whole pizza and I ate a ton of toppings, and it was a really heavy meal. And I still need to work on portion sizes. So if it's not prepped already and I can just grab it and throw it in the microwave or just grab it and go, then I'm going to see that there's all this food here and I know it's low carb, but it's just the portion size itself is just not good. So I try to stick to meat and veggies, mostly chicken, beef, seafood. I don't favor pork, really. I'm not a big fan of pork. I like bacon. So I try to avoid it. I'll replace pork with turkey, like turkey sausages kind of thing. It's usually lower calories anyway to replace turkey, where you could have like beef or pork instead. Those are higher calorie meats. I don't try to count calories though. When I go out to eat, I look up options online that are specifically like keto friendly. Is this or this keto friendly? What can I get here? And I try to base my decision off of that, but I usually end up getting like a Caesar salad and some grilled meat and veggies and water. Next question. Do you exercise? Well, at this time, I do not, because my meloxicam for my arthritis isn't working as well as I need it to right now. I just recently got back on my meloxicam as of December, and you have to slowly raise your meds basically. So my doctor just upped the dosage from 7.5 milligrams to 15 milligrams, and when I got my blood work in my last video you saw it's normal, and he told me to double my dosage, which they call it myobic. It's meloxicam is what it's called. So next week I'll double my dosage. I have not done that this week. When the weather is warmer, I do want to go out for walks though. But right now I strictly focus on my eating, and I'm trying to track my macros, and I'm really, really working on my portion sizes by portioning my food beforehand, which is very difficult to do. Next question. What apps do you use to track everything? What apps am I using on my phone? I don't only just use apps like I showed you guys before in my measurements videos. I use the back of a calendar right now. I'm going to get a notebook so that I can measure and track all my measurements. But I do track my macros and my weight with an app called My Diet Coach. It doesn't, however, give me a graph for my weight or anything like that, so I can have like a visual, and it doesn't tell me some specific macros, like if it's a sugar or whatever. It doesn't tell me if it's erythritol or anything like that, so I have to like memorize, oh, did I have like 3 grams of erythritol? Do I subtract that from my carbs? Like, I don't know. So it doesn't entirely tell me. It also doesn't tell me what my macros are supposed to be as I continue to lose weight, because your macros do or should fluctuate and go down. So I also have a macro app. It's literally called Macros. To give me my macros, I'll adjust my weight in it. And then I go to the next tab and it tells me what I should be eating per meal, how many grams and stuff like that. So that helps a lot. It helps to know the grams versus the percentage. It's just easier that way to figure out what you're going to eat and how to read labels. Percentages seem to confuse people. I also have a weight tracker app, is what it's called, weight tracker. and it shows me the bar graph or whatever that I showed in my last video. My last weight loss update video for week 9. I think at the end of it I showed my bar graph, and it gives me like plot. It's got a dot where the weight is and on the day, and it just kind of draws a line to it, and that shows me where I'm fluctuating, where I plateau and stuff like that. Right now my weight is seriously fluctuating in the past week or so, and I don't really understand why, but I'll figure it out. Hopefully I'll figure it out. Overall, I'm still losing weight. Next question. What made you gain weight in the first place? That's a good question. So I've always been a big eater because when I was younger, I was very, very picky. But I would also binge eat my favorite foods, pastas, like I said, ramen noodles and potatoes and holiday food and comfort food and stuff like that. I would binge eat that. But if they made like a common meal that I wasn't used to, like my stepmom used to put cheese on biscuits. Well, I loved biscuits, but cheese on biscuits I didn't like, so I wouldn't eat it. Or certain meats, I wouldn't eat meats for the longest time. Certain veggies I wouldn't eat, certain fruits I wouldn't eat. It was just, I was very, very picky. If it wasn't a starch, I didn't want it, basically. I also had IBS issues. I still have IBS issues. It's a lifelong problem with the digestive tract. My digestive tract is very slow. I have constipation issues. I have cramping issues. My muscles cramp up. You can hear gurgling noises and stuff, even when I haven't eaten in a while. My stomach's talking to me, my intestines are talking to me. It's really annoying. It's uncomfortable. I get bloating and stuff like that. So it's not fun to have IBS overall. And eating better has alleviated a lot of the issues. But it hasn't overall eliminated the problem, unfortunately. People called me anorexic when I was little. The school would call home and be concerned that I wasn't eating enough. I was in and out of doctor's offices. I remember constantly being measured, and the little pinch thing, the little whatever it is, that metal thing, they would pinch the back of my arm to see if I had any fat at all, and I was always low on the BMI scale and stuff and whatever. It was annoying and pointless because nothing really worked that they suggested. They put me on like Slim Fast and all sorts of stuff to control the IBS specifically, and nothing worked. By the time I was 14, I was only about 80 pounds. When I hit high school, I was 120 pounds. That's not terrible, but I was still really skinny. It wasn't until I had kids that I finally started gaining weight. After I had Gavin, I got up to about 180 pounds. After I had Zane, I was up to a 200. And then I always managed to get back down to 160, but I would fluctuate between 160 and 180. That's a 20-pound fluctuation. But that was normal for me. Like, I would just fluctuate and then lose the weight and gain the weight. So, February 2016, I think it was towards the middle of the month. No, the end of the month. I got in a car accident. I totaled my car. I basically went up the rear of 2 SUVs at about 40, 50 miles an hour. No brakes hit for me. They were dead stopped at a light. My car smashed up and crumpled. Basically, it was totaled, and my airbags went off, and I went right into them. I was wearing a seatbelt, but the fact that my spine has so many issues and my muscles in my back have so many issues, it left me bedridden for the good part of 2 months. And then over the summer, I had issues with my arthritis constantly flaring. I had to do physical therapy. I was on muscle relaxers. I was on pain meds. I was on my arthritis medication, which wasn't working at all at that time. I had whiplash, which affected my cervical arthritis. I ended up with 3 herniated discs, one after another, which made walking incredibly painful. And my eating habits hadn't changed, so as usual, I gained weight. I was eating everything in sight. I wasn't active to burn off anything. I was just laying on a couch. And I would get up every now and then, maybe do the dishes and lay back down, or get up and cook and lay back down. And, it was just. So my weight started off, I think at that time, about 160, 170 ish. I was still average weight for what I needed to be. And then my weight shot up, and obviously I got up to about 300. I just didn't fix my eating issues, and I was not active. So that's what made me gain weight. So it's recent. As of 2016, I had just been slowly packing on the pounds. And kind of not really. I mean, I noticed, but I was more focused on how much pain I was in and immobile I had become. So the next question that I got was, what issues do you deal with during your weight loss? Aside from what I've already discussed with my pain and stuff like that. I do have issues with seeing changes in my body by looking at pictures or videos still. Like my mom did a video where I'm walking in the mall or something like that on my kid's birthday, and I just saw a fat person. I was like, ew, I'm wide, I'm whatever. It doesn't look like I've lost any weight. Like I was just like, ew. Like I don't even want to see that on a video. And that doesn't give me any hope that I'm not going to be a fat person on a video at any point in time. I have about 40 pounds to lose before I am considered just simply overweight. According to my scale right now, I am not morbidly obese anymore. I'm just obese. And I have another 40 pounds after that, 80 overall to be at my weight range that I'm supposed to be at. So my overall goal is to lose about 112 pounds overall. I'm almost there. I also deal with struggling to think of what to eat if I don't have my meal prepped, or what I can eat, or, making food for everyone else. They don't eat what I do, so, can I have an alternative? Do I even have the products at home to make, kind of thing? I struggle to buy groceries. I'm really getting tired of the higher food costs for me, and the fact that it seems like they're smaller containers compared to everybody else's lower cost and larger containers. I don't know if I'm getting the same amount as everybody else for their stuff. I'm tired of reading labels on everything to see if it's actually keto friendly, because some stuff that says it's keto friendly, or even if it says like gluten free or whatever kind of thing, it doesn't mean it's keto friendly. They use like potato starches and rice flours and whatever, and tapioca flour to bind, kind of thing, and I can't have that. I struggle with being between clothes sizes right now. As I said earlier, I don't know what to wear half the time. What I used to wear is, like I said, loose on me, kind of baggy and big. Like this is huge on me. But 2X's or whatever, what I'm supposed to be wearing at my size, it still feels a little snug for me. And I like kind of looser fitting clothing. I don't like stuff snug. So I'm still waiting a few more pounds to fit into clothes that are supposed to be for me, so that I can make sure that they're a little loose on me. I have issues with some online communities, which doesn't directly affect my weight loss itself or my own, eating habits or goals or anything like that. It affects my attitude towards the diet and the people on the diet, though. There are a lot of judgmental people and perfectionists. They're what I like to call like keto Nazis or diet Nazis in those groups. And they're quick to judge and assume that people are only on strict keto, or demand that in a specific group you have to be strict keto only or you can't be in their group, kind of thing. Like, it's really, who are you to tell people how to diet? Like, really? I mean, you're fat too. Um, and then I see posts like, oh, I cheated on my diet today, or how do you start this diet? Or they ask the same questions over and over because they didn't bother to research or, put in the little search bar of the group to see if the question's been answered already or anything like that. They put no actual effort towards the diet or bettering any of their bad habits. So it's just like, I don't know, maybe I should just, I probably am about due for leaving those communities because they're dragging me down. Like, I can't handle it. It's just very negative in my opinion, and I think it should be more supportive and people should do their research and stuff like that before asking a question that could easily be Googled or whatever. I know I do. I hardly ever post unless it's like, how do I alter this recipe for these ingredients or anything like that. And even then, I get like one comment and it's like, you can't do that. So, whatever. I'm done posting and commenting and whatever. Can't help them if I can't help myself anyway. So those were the questions that I've been asked, and I just kind of wanted to go over them, and hopefully that helps you guys understand where I'm at and what I'm doing and stuff like that. This is, like I said, this is a very loose, and I'm sitting down, so, but my belly is here. It used to be, when I did videos, if I were sitting down, I'd be like out here. I wouldn't even fit in this chair. It would be like out here and out here and stuff like that. And yeah, I was about mid-thigh when I sat down, which is like right here. So that's pretty big distance. My thighs would crunch together. I can separate them. I have a good gap like right here right now. My arms, I'm noticing a big difference. My arms used to be like really wide. And when I couldn't put my arms straight down, my arms would be like out here because my chest was so wide and my arms were so thick. So I am seeing a difference. My face is a lot thinner. My neck is a lot thinner, which is great. I can't wait till my hair grows out. I hate cutting it. But I hope that really helps. I also put up in the corner over here my summer photos, screenshots from videos I did on YouTube, and recent photos towards the end of January that I took wearing the same exact shirts that I had in the videos and trying them on again. You can see the difference in how I look now compared to how I did over the summer, fall-ish type of season. I know that this one specifically in the middle, that was roughly fall, and the one at the bottom is about July. So you can see I'm a lot bigger in the fall than I am in July. When was roughly when I started talking to the bariatric doctor and when I decided the hell with it, I'll just eat everything in sight and hopefully get approved. So, and I know for a fact the one on the top is over the summer because we rescued the boa around June, July-ish sort of time. My stomach is like I said, IBS. So I'm going to go, and I hope that helped people understand me a little bit better and understand my dieting process a little bit better. I'm going to go eat lunch. It is now 12 o'clock. I've had my coffee, but it's cold now, so there was no point in that. I will catch you guys another time. Thank you so much for tuning in and continuing to support my channel. I really greatly appreciate it. I'm loving all the love and support from everybody. It is really encouraging me to continue, my dieting and making my videos and uploading and everything like that. I'm loving all the positive support. Thank you all so much for 50 subscribers so far. I hope to continue to grow. Please remember to thumbs up. See right down there, thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Ring that bell if you want to be notified of any future videos. I know YouTube is having issues with their ringing the bell thing because people aren't getting their notifications, but it might help. And leave a comment. Let me know if you're dieting, how your dieting's going, if you, any answers to any of the questions that I had for yourself, kind of thing. I'd like to get to know your process and how you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing and any struggles that you're dealing with as well. So keep me updated too, and I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you. Bye.